Now you're fucking with the champs.
I reminisce for a spell, or shall I say think back 22 years ago to keep it on track.
That was Doug,
good, man. DJ
Doug with a
Douggpound
rare
in the mix.
Doug with a rare start. He
first in.
Usually me and Moshe are chomping at the bit.
It's true. It's
to
like
see who gets to use our words
You
first.
guys are usually like, my name is this, and I'll be at this club, and to my left is this other guy.
But today it's Doug is like the first commenter on a YouTube comment. He's like, first.
Yeah. That was we played that. This is Neal Brennan. To my left is Moshe Kasher.
And I'm going to be performing at the Pussy Eating Hound Hut. Come out and see me. It's in Toledo this weekend.
We play that as a tribute to Heavy D, who
Strangely
passed
a Pete Rock and
away.
CL Smooth song.
I would like to
Rest his soul.
to point out we can just get it. The Heavy D, rest in peace. All this stuff. We are now at the age.
It's the worst
that
eulogy I've
again,
ever heard
I
in
don't
my
look,
life.
man, I don't.
Rest in peace, so and so,
So-and-so,
etc.
It's like we got to move. Hip hop got to move on.
But more importantly,
What I want to talk
yeah,
about was
my
that
podcast.
we have Moshe Kasher, and our guest today is
a
buddy of ours. And
did you just introduce me?
Yeah,
Didn't
but
we
not,
just
everybody
discuss-
knows us now.
This is Moshe
Everybody knows
Kasher.
me, you, and Doug. Our guest today is
A very funny
one
fellow.
of the stars of Workaholics.
Of the television program Workaholics on Comedy Central. He's also done stand-up on Comedy Central, and he is a hilarious dude.
Quite funny.
thank you very much.
Erik
His
Griffin,
name is Erik
everybody.
Griffin, ladies and gentlemen.
Erik
Thank you.
Nice.
I'll also be at the Pussy Hut.
Yeah,
I wanted to
Eric's
talk
gonna be at
about
the Pussy Hut with me.
The thing that Heavy D brings to mind, in fact, the past 2 weeks brings to mind, is that we have friends and peers that are dying of relatively natural causes.
That's real talk.
Meaning we're all in our 30s, I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's fucking chilling.
Yeah, it's true.
Late 30s. Yeah.
Yeah.
How did Heavy D?
I don't know.
They don't know.
Well, I guess they don't know. You're right, but I hear what you're saying. This
I
last
would
week.
assume it's something that you meaning. And now it's the time where like we're at the consequence
Right.
age.
It's true.
Yeah.
Where
That
you
is
go,
true.
oh, I guess if at some point you're heavy,
Right.
you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Long balls. You got long ass balls.
Talking about Patrice being sick.
Patrice, who is had a
Ralphie May
stroke.
was sick.
Yeah, Ralphie May
Patrice had a
is-
stroke and is still can use all of your thoughts, and if you're not Neal, your prayers as well. Patrice O'Neal, one of the greatest fucking comics of our generation.
Yep.
Really. I mean, just one of the best.
has pretty much every observation Patrice has about men and women. I wish I had thought of.
But the thing about Patrice that's amazing is that you couldn't say it. No, you couldn't say any of that stuff because it's so raw.
You're doing the black guy character
You would be doing.
Wait, I can't say
because I'm a black guy, right?
What I'm saying is Patrice is so raw. His views on men and women are so over the top raw that that if anyone else tried to say a Patrice joke, every woman in the audience would be like, "Fuck you."
Yeah, but every woman in the audience does say that.
But yeah, you're right.
Yeah, but
except that
just
he's-
not when other women are around.
But I'm saying,
Right.
like, Patrice,
But I'm just saying, I've seen it like where
He offends people,
He
but-
offends. He wants to offend people.
no doubt. But sometimes you'll see this. I love seeing these like audiences full of women laughing at Patrice, basically just like the most misogynistic shit ever.
No, but what I like is he goes up. He makes him like him, and
Yeah.
then he pulls
That's
the
what
rug.
he
you're
figured
right.
out how
Yeah,
to do.
so
His
true.
half hour on HBO was just that was in 2004, and it was
Yeah.
just like when you suck a dick, you got to sound like you're retarded, and you can't. And he also had the great bit, which is, ladies, if you lost your pussy in a pussy accident, what would you do to keep a man around? And they all go like hand jobs, blow jobs, and he goes, you notice that none of you said tell better stories. and there was no redeeming factors. So
Yeah,
this
yeah.
hour, the hour that he just did called Elephant in the Room on Comedy
So
Central,
good.
he
Recommend
just
it.
and I texted him this like, oh, you figured out how to lure people in. Where he's like, I feel bad for women. I sympathize with women. It's a trap. It's all this stuff. You can still say the same shit, but now it sounds like. And I actually think as a person, he evolved somewhat. My experience with him was I'd known him. He was on Chappelle's show one time, and I don't think he had a good experience. And because it was Chappelle's show, it's fucking for Dave. It's not for It was like that Player Haters Ball sketch with like Dave and Ice-T and Charlie and Donnell and all these dudes. It's an ensemble sketch, but Patrice felt like he wasn't used enough.
I think that's why he left the office.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely why he left the office. So
he's a dude that'll say what. I mean, we shouldn't make this a Patrice hour, but he doesn't have an interesting relationship with saying no too. I thought that was kind of. I think that's kind of cool. I have a hard time saying no to stuff. I'll kind of do everything.
I'm going on a Cymbalta commercial.
Exactly.
Tomorrow.
It's like you don't need that, but you do need. You know, it's like.
Yeah. So he kind of disappeared for like 4 or 5 years. Like was just doing weird gigs and wasn't really going to clubs at all. And me and Dove did a pilot last year, and we wanted him to be in it. And
Dove Davidoff.
Yeah. And I called Patrice and was like, "Yo, man, we want you to be in this pilot." But I go, "Are you going to be a dick?" and he was like, "Neal, how the fuck you going to call me out of nowhere and ask me that shit?" And then like 5 minutes later, he's like, "You know what, Neal, I can't promise you that I'm not going to be you." What was cool was he then did a pilot of his own and called me and said, "You know what? You're right. You're right, because when you're doing a pilot, you can't have people on set that are giving you even slightly negative energy."
Right.
Because that's what happens. Even Chris Rock said that when Patrice auditioned for Everybody Hates Chris, he said, "Patrice, you are my dad." He goes, "You are my dad, but it's just not worth it."
Whoa.
Yeah.
And then but Patrice came around. He came around to
Right.
like he understood that he kind of got it. And the fact that he got it and called me to say I got it was awesome. Like, it was a big thing. This is another thing that comics never do. I opened for him in Ontario or something like a year and a half ago, and he called me a couple of days later just to tell me he thought I was funny.
No, that's nice.
Yeah,
that's
which
real nice.
especially for him.
That's something you would never do, Neal.
That's not right. That's not true.
No, Neal's a decent dude. Neal's a good guy.
Oh, look at
Underneath
you
it
guys,
all.
I love this. You
No,
guys
we
my brother's keeper over here.
No, but also we fight. We fights. We fought all
fight.
day today.
I know.
Yeah.
Doug, what do you
Nope.
think? What do you think about me and Neal?
Nope.
Erik, where did you start, man? Erik is a stand-up comedian first and foremost. Would you say first and foremost?
Yes,
Yeah.
I would.
Where'd you start?
I'm from Los Angeles, so I started in LA.
no
so that
shit.
was
They
pretty
have that?
impossible.
That's a thing.
It wasn't. Yeah, it was
crazy.
It's like when you're ever on the road and some young comic says to you, "I want to move to LA," and I always go, "Why? Why
Yeah.
would you move to LA?" I don't get it. So it was difficult at first. I started like when I was younger. I went to a class.
You went to a class?
Yeah, I even went to a
Because
class.
and I know you want to get back to talking about nutrition and fat, but my Neal, right?
This was a classic Moshe segment in that I'll tell you what just happened.
We were onto something, and then
we asked Erik a question.
Yeah.
You cut me off from talking about something
I'm
emotional
sorry
and
to
relevant.
bust your soliloquy in half.
Yeah. You cut me off, and then you ask Erik a question. He gets out 3 words, and you immediately cut him off.
He said a whole.
No, he goes, "I'm from LA," and you go, "Do they have that?" Like, it's like This is what people hate. This is what Doug hates about us.
you went to a stand-up comedy class.
You know, I actually went to a weird class. I went to Sandy Shore's class at
whoa.
UCLA Extension.
That's Pauly Shore's father.
No.
Sister.
The
Sister. Oh,
sister.
interesting.
But here's the thing about it. So the graduation of the class is coming up, and I'm thinking, yeah, this is her mom owns the Comedy Store. This is going to be my way
Right.
in. Then we're standing in a parking lot. It's me and 2 or 3 other students, whatever you want to call them. And she says to us with a straight face, "Guys, I don't care what you think of me, but I sleep on spaceships at night."
I get it. I get it.
Not.
Now,
Kidding
I have a
you.
couple questions.
What
Did
is
that,
it? Wait
did
a
that
second.
affect how you thought of her?
Yes, it did.
But she didn't care.
I did. No, it only thought to me was like, oh, I'm never going to get into the Comedy Store. And it took
Did
me,
she have
Took me
decent-
12 years.
Why? Because black people don't go to space. I'm confused.
It was
what does
something
that
like
mean that she sleeps on spaceships at night?
I have no idea.
Oh,
okay?
I'll tell you. Let me break it down.
She really thinks she sleeps. She's like aliens take her at night. It was
She wasn't
no,
being
no,
like
no. This wasn't like
arrogant.
a joke. No,
she
no,
was
this
like,
was like
I
I,
gotta
sleep with aliens. And so then I'm thinking, oh God, this is how I'm starting my comedy career. And then I remember I went to the showcase was in the OR at the comedy
original
store,
room.
the original room at the comedy store. And
Simpatico.
I do my little 5-minute set, and I'm thinking, yay, this is fun. I had the bug from that. And then the real comics came on after our show. The first comic up was Carlos Mencia.
Oh wow.
And I remember watching
He did
him.
your entire act.
No,
Go ahead.
I remember
he had stolen it before you even wrote it.
I honestly watched him. He did a Taco Bell joke. I remember that. But I remember watching him thinking, you know what? I can do this.
Oh,
you know?
wow.
And then he brought up Chris Tucker. And then I thought, I don't know if I can do this.
Right. Who'd
That's funny.
Who'd Chris bring up?
I didn't stay after that because I had to leave. Because we were like, you're with all these people, you go to a party or whatever it is like that. And then after that, it was just like a long road of like trying to do open mics and then just being young and arrogant and thinking like, every time I come to an open mic, I see the same 5 people doing the same bullshit. And so I just didn't know how to get on stage. I made a lot of excuses.
Wait, what were you saying about the same 5 people? What do you mean?
Well, you'd go to like an open mic at some place, and then you'd see the same 5 or 6 comics.
Sure,
doing
that's exactly what he said is what he means.
Yeah.
You know what?
And then you go to another open mic, and you'd see the other 5 or 6.
No, but you know why you're confused, Neal? Actually, and this isn't talking shit.
Right?
Is that you've circumvented cutting your
teeth?
No,
but I don't understand what's arrogant about that.
No, because I felt, and
I've done more open mics than anyone would ever believe.
I felt I was better than everybody. You understand? I was like, I was like, what am I doing here? How do I fucking do?
What did Erik think, Doug?
He was brilliant.
Yes, I definitely thought that, and then I didn't know how to get on stage.
I feel you though, man.
And being in LA is a showcase town, so at that time too, you'd go to a comedy club, and then there's Chappelle, and there's like all these people that you think, well, how do I get on stage if he gets on stage? And I didn't know.
Right.
There was nobody to help me or give me any advice, and so I was,
So you took a class.
No. This was after the class.
So wait a second. Before you
nothing.
even did stand up or open mics or anything, you went to a class?
Yes.
So you
and then your final exam was then going to the comedy club and seeing your first stand up show?
No. We did our show. We did our showcase in front of our friends. Okay. And then
but that was like your first show.
Yeah, that was my
experience.
first show. The first time I ever did stand up was on the OR stage. Sorry.
Wow.
And then I thought that's why I've always wanted to get into the comedy club, because at that time it was like very prestigious and there was like a thing about it.
Totally.
It's not like it is today.
No, it still is. I relate.
They'll let Tony Hinchcliffe on. They'll let anyone. Matt Edgar.
I started in San Francisco, and
I know those guys. I did not say that.
No, I
was Neal.
Tony's gonna hate me for the rest of my life just for no reason. Matt Edgar will like me for the rest of my life.
I started in San Francisco, where you just did the punchline, right?
Uh-huh.
So you met Molly.
I've known Molly.
You know Molly. Do you know Molly? Do you ever do the punchline?
I've never
Have you done the punchline, Doug?
Nope. I'm not pretentious enough to do San Francisco.
But you are defensive enough to do our podcast. I want to talk to you about your ridiculous, jealous older brother relationship.
Jealous? You think it's jealous?
There's some element of jealousy to it.
Jealousy.
And I'm not saying to me, it's to alternative comedy.
I went to the premiere with Chappelle.
That, ladies and gentlemen,
is that on the? Is that a? Wait a minute. Is that a Neal Brennan ego app?
Yeah. They have an app for that too. But that shit costs a lot of money. It could have costed a lot more, but
some people say it cost $8 million.
Yeah, somebody bounced to Africa. But wait, so San Francisco? You mean you're not pretentious enough to do the punchline? That's a real club. That's my home club.
I'm just saying.
I'm gonna be defensive about my home club.
Here you go.
But Eric, wouldn't you go ahead?
Go ahead.
No.
Finish your.
I was gonna say. Well, I was gonna say if you are, don't you? All right. So if there's a club where if you're not getting in, do you assume? I always assume I'm doing something that they don't like, or I'm not good enough in some way. And I'm wondering what your point of view is.
I never think that I'm not funny. I just think that this person doesn't think I'm funny, because they're basically just building owners. They're building managers. Okay, that's all they really are. And then this is their building, and in their building, these are the rules. And so that's just how I look at it. So
I mean, I know about
any room. It could be your podcast.
Right.
It could be whatever. Some open mic. Somebody's like, I don't think this person's funny, so they're not going to let them in the room. That's how I feel about stuff.
Right.
I think about myself. I think that my act can be. I know where my act is, and that certain club owners can be a little bit like, oh, it's too edgy, or it's too offensive, and so that's what I assume is when I'm not getting in at a club, that somehow they think that I'm offensive, and there's certain.
You're offensive. What are you talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't. What
no,
about
but
your act?
that rubs them the wrong way.
Right,
you know what I mean?
What about your act do you think is offensive?
I mean, it's
your gayness.
You have to accept certain.
That was a pretty gay laugh.
Yeah. Come on, Erik. You have to accept certain things about me as a performer. I mean, nothing. I don't think I'm that offensive. I don't try to write offensive
Can I tell
material.
you something? You're just not famous enough yet. That's
Exactly.
all it is.
No,
I'm
exactly
just
right.
kind of thinking like, what's
It doesn't
famous? I don't
even
think
matter.
anything's offensive.
You
about
know,
it.
I've been around to clubs and I hear them. They talk about the people that they hate. You know, the club manager and the waitress.
I always ask too. I say, "Who's your horror story?"
These are two people they say all the time. One, Tracy Morgan. They talk about the things that he does and like he walked off stage to go take a shit. He said, "I'm going to take a shit," and then he comes back out. When's the next show? They're like, "We're funding all the tickets right now, asshole."
Right.
Another guy, Eddie Griffin.
Eddie Griffin.
Eddie Griffin's the big one. But here's the thing that they always say.
Yeah.
They'll talk in one sentence, they'll say, Eddie Griffin, he's kind of an asshole. He does this, this, and this. God, he'll be here next week.
Right.
So I go, I don't want to hear it.
Right, totally. There's some other ones.
If the managers say we hate this guy, but we're booking him next week.
Yes, I don't want to hear it.
Certain people won't bring it. The punch. Actually, I don't want to say it. But I've also heard that. Well, I don't want to even say.
They're all. Let me tell you something. They're all liars. They'll bring the people back. They'll say that, but the people will be back if they sell.
Although Eddie once said at the punchline, Eddie Griffin once said at the punchline, he told the crowd, "Don't tip these white bitches."
Get the fuck out of here.
That's him. So the punchline in San Francisco, where I started, the system was that you had to go every Sunday for up to or over a year and sit in the back. It wasn't even like how the Comedy Store, like you'll get up at 2:00 in the morning. This was go every Sunday, sit there, and you'll never go on for a whole year.
Wow.
You won't go on. And Molly is this very beautiful, redheaded, covered in tattooed woman. She's very hot, and she's in charge of everything. So you would just sit up at the bar waiting for her to come say you can go on stage for a full year, watching, like you said, the same 6 people go up and just do hacky bullshit, and you'd be like, and at this point you're like, oh, that guy's good enough. He's not good enough, but you're just...
He deserves an Oscar for that.
No, but the point is,
I thought that was Neal.
But you know what the point is that hazing process makes you appreciate it,
Yep.
So that's why I get kind of like a little bit about how the Comedy Store, because it was like that.
Right.
But then, I don't know. Sometimes
I
feel
it's
it's like
hazy
that.
enough.
But for me, I took it.
Some ways, it's like it's like a girl who makes you wait to have sex with her, and then you're just like, why did I wait for this?
Yeah.
Right.
There's a psychological thing where if you just make people wait, that's why guys value fraternity shit like that is because of hazing, because of waiting, and it's fake. It's not. It doesn't mean it's valuable. It's just people know that if I make you wait, that's why they keep lines in front of nightclubs.
Wait, are you saying hazing isn't like
it's not that important.
Yeah,
I had
crazy.
an interesting experience this weekend. I was in Dallas at Sunday night. I was at Dallas at Hyenas, and what I found was that
bad?
there are
You've been there and it's bad.
Don't get me started.
there are a number of I've been seeing it just from like. Sorry to mention Dave Chappelle, but just watching people.
There we go.
And also, there should be a time.
Premiere, no less.
No. But having said that, it took me on this episode. It took 19 minutes, almost 20 minutes, for me to bring Chappelle up.
Did you go to the premiere of your show at your show with Dave Chappelle?
No less.
Oh wow.
Okay,
At
so
the premiere, no less.
and I found this on cruise. There's always when people get drunk. There's always when people get drunk in a vaguely worky environment, everyone takes on a different role. So the other night there was the girl who was overly deferential, like I love everything you did, I love the podcast, and I love your act was amazing. And then there's the guy, the drunk guy who kept telling me like, dude, I'm not gonna kiss your ass. You're not funny. And it was like, oh, everyone's just everyone kind of takes on the role, but I'm just wondering if you guys have found that to be
Everyone is a hack in the world. The entire world and experience of life is hack.
Oh, people are hacky as
world is
personal
hack.
character as people's personalities are hacky.
Yeah,
what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing new under the sun, so
Wow.
everything's been done. We're all doing it again and again. All this shit that, for sure. Now we're on a podcast, but people were having this very conversation on radio 30 years ago. Bill Cosby was like, so when we would start at the San Francisco at the Punchline, you'd be sitting at the bar, and this beautiful woman would walk by with all of the power in your career in her hands. And you would see Molly walk from across the room because it's like a long back room.
Yeah.
And you would start to kind of
Yeah.
like buck up like a little chipmunk. Like, is it me? Is it? And I love Molly. She's like a good friend of mine now. But I kind of think that she did this on purpose. She would kind of make eye contact with you and walk over to you. And then at the very last second, turn to the left and then be like, "You're on," and one. And you'd be like, "No."
Ejaculate.
Yeah. Well, I think that's human nature.
But like you were saying though, Eric, and I wonder what you think about this, Neal and Doug. Like, having that experience of being that intimidated by a person, by the first booker of my home club, I was so intimidated by her. No studio exec I've ever met with or famous movie star or anything has ever had even an ounce of the intimidation that I felt.
Not even Dave Chappelle?
Not even Dave Chappelle, because
you've never met Dave Chappelle. I would have. Trust me.
I have.
No, I'm sure you have.
No,
I'm sure he remembers you.
Do you know that process?
Why are you?
How dare you talk about my David?
That process, I know, does help. You know, it's like I did a contest once. I did the Seattle contest,
sure,
and it helped me for auditioning. You know, just that quick 5-minute dealing with that foolishness. I never will do it again.
Right.
Well, that is but Molly had something that you wanted more than anything you've ever wanted. You know what I mean?
Redheaded pussy.
And because I'm trying to think of people like that where they've had real. When someone has status in a scene, that's like the word famous to me. Like, to me, like anything that has status to me is famous. Like, and this is an odd. In my head, all black dudes are a little bit famous. I know that's a crazy thing. I used to tell my ex that her feet were famous because I just liked her feet. So I was like, yeah, those feet are famous to me because I like them.
But you do have an interesting relationship with fame. I've noticed that recently.
Yeah.
You like fame a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Who doesn't?
I'm not. I don't. I find it disgusting mostly.
Well, which is why you're not famous.
I mean,
if you're running from it,
I'm not running from it. I actually am actively, in the same way I'm actively, just like every comic is actively pursuing
maybe you're
notoriety.
Well, how don't you think that runs counter to it? If you think it's disgusting,
yeah.
Oh, why?
Subconsciously, you might be sabotaging yourself.
I see that neither of you are Jews. We are now discussing the actual Jewish experience of the world, which is having an ambivalent relationship with everything, and being sort of disgusted and disgusted by the things that you crave at all times.
Got it.
Yeah, I think fucking a lot is sort of eventually an empty and vapid pursuit, but I do it like a motherfucker.
But you can't stop this.
But can't stop
your testicles.
I'm like a reformed, and I'm still not completely reformed, but I've had periods of my life where I was a real star fucker, like a real. It was heteronormative. Aren't you glad Doug took our note to not play clips of us?
Well, you gave me that note after I had it all loaded up.
No, I know, but you still don't have to use them.
Because I'm going to use them.
You know what? I think most showrunners in Los Angeles are star fuckers.
That's interesting.
You know, like especially bookers, like even these little comics that book shows.
Absolutely,
they're worst star fuckers.
I think everyone in LA is star. First of all, I think everyone in LA. But having said that, I think all of America is star fucker because I was thinking about this the other day when people go, "You act like you're better than me." There are a bunch of ways in which society tells so and so that he's better than you. When someone's like. Okay. Well,
oh God, I know exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
No, I was at a comedy club. I won't say where, but I was at this comedy club. And
now you're gonna start editing it? You already been dropping names and shit. You already fucked up.
They won't give you. You can't order a steak on the menu. Okay, all right. You can't order a steak. So
you could order anything but the steak.
Everything but steak.
Oh,
all right,
which is fine with you.
So I brought
your new diet.
This is before though. I brought a buddy of mine with me.
Fuck that club,
he wanted to be on the show. This guy Mo Mandel was on the show. Okay,
sure.
So they wouldn't even put him up in the hotel. So most thing was some chick. So they say, because we're not gonna put you up, we'll let you get a steak. So then I say out loud, I go, well, great. Well, no, they'll let you order off the headliner menu, I'm saying. So then I say, oh, well, great. Does that mean I get to get a steak? I'm saying this jokingly. You know, I said, with the money I make. Then one of the waitresses says, well, you make more money than us. And I'm like, I'm supposed to make more money than you.
Yeah.
Right. This is a comedy club, not a waitress club.
Yeah. Make better life decisions.
Right. She's really taking it to the waitresses tonight.
Okay.
And another thing.
I'm just
fuck
saying.
a waitress. Fuck a motherfucker.
Is our guest tonight Erik Griffin or Eddie Griffin?
No. What happened?
Do not tip these white bitches.
No, but I'm just saying that really pissed me off. But that kind of mentality.
I don't
understand. Like, that's the whole thing where she's saying, like, well, you think you're better than. No, don't put your bullshit on me.
Right.
You know? Like, if just because you're not in.
But also, but what you're saying is, in that scenario, you are better than her.
Yes.
Quote. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have more status, you have more talent, you have more So the fact that people go, someone was saying that, I was just thinking about Kanye as always, and how like someone's like, he thinks he's
Fuck yeah,
Kanye West.
You know that Kanye West is coming out with a butt rock album?
Is that true?
Yeah, man.
A what?
A
Yeah.
butt rock.
A butt rock album, yeah.
What's butt rock?
Like that.
So
That's what you were
glad you
just
asked.
playing.
Oh.
Is he really, or you're saying that?
I'm just saying that.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. You said it with such conviction
Thanks,
that I was
guys.
like,
It's
wow.
called, it's called acting, and it's after my pursuit of fame. This is how I've been able to get
Right.
these
No,
chops.
being famous, and I'll tell you how being a star fucker helps.
Mm-hmm.
When you get into a situation where you need to call in favors,
Right.
being a star fucker is a huge fucking help.
Yeah, I can
know
see how that would
that's
work,
the
yeah.
thing is, and also, and in the position I'm in now, all stars are star fucking me as well. It's like reciprocal because they go, well, I was called, like I've said it on here before, the winner circle, where when you, it's like when you make it, everyone's like,
People
hey.
People fail upwards in this business.
But
or
I don't
sideways.
even buy that. That's like a thing to say, but I don't think you can substantiate it. Which we'll get into.
Anthony Anderson.
Anthony Anderson's a good actor.
I mean, that's like a thing you could say, but
No, I think that's a thing. I think I
Sure,
think
it's a
that's
cliche that we
thing-
all have said.
I think no. I think
No, I
that's
think
a
once you
thing
get on
that
a show-
people say is like, oh, it's failing upward. But meanwhile, because that's like conspiracy theories where it's like, yeah, you fail upwards because so and so done. Anthony has talent.
No. What I'm
What do
saying
you-
is,
I don't know
if
what
you get
either
on
of
a
you are talking about
No,
right now.
what I'm saying is, if
I
you get on a
kinda don't know
show,
either.
once you get in the winner circle, like you're saying,
Absolutely.
okay, even if that show
You're a
fails,
proven commodity.
right? So they go, okay, that
Oh,
show
yeah.
failed.
You're
Let's put him
safe.
on this show. Oh,
Yes.
that one failed. Let's put him on this show.
Yes.
Let's
Right.
put him on this
You're
show.
in the
That's
wor-
what I'm saying.
And then there's
that's
a
what I'm saying.
social
You fail
circle.
sideways and upwards.
There's a social element to that where
not a bad
famous
thing.
people like being around other famous people. They're just as star fuckery as anybody because they pursued fame in the first place. So they.
I've always assumed that was about their comfort level.
No. They say it is.
Listen,
they say
one of my best buds is Craig Robinson. All right,
Right.
Sure.
He's on The Office.
Well, he's been on the podcast The Champs, actually.
You know, and I hear
That was a
him
big moment
how
for
he
him.
talks about people that want him to be in like his sketches and stuff like that. And he doesn't
Right.
want to be in like regular people's sketches. He wants Will Ferrell to ask him to be in a sketch. You know what I
Right.
mean? So he's trying. That's what his thing is to go. So like if I'm doing some sketches and stuff like that, I don't ask him to do it because I know that that's not something he wants to
Interesting.
do. You know
You see,
what I mean? He likes being
even
that
booking
guy.
this show, it comes into play. Meaning, guys that like David Allen Greer, Robert Townsend, they're more apt to say yes than Kevin Hart is because I'm below Kevin, but I'm in the same area as David and Robert, and like we're like sort of similar.
I think you should edit this part out.
Yeah, but you wanted in that email today. You said you
Hollywood
wanted to
Shuffle
get
was an American classic.
the toppest names.
I agree. I do want the toppest names, but I'm saying
But me and Moshe are like, we should get whoever is interesting.
We should get real
right
cast.
because you guys don't want people to listen.
No, man. You know what though? It's like
I don't think. I mean,
I'll show you the numbers.
On a
the
real-
more famous the guest is, the more listeners we get,
obviously,
and the more people
Neal,
hear our
I'm not-
comedy.
there's a flaw in what you're saying, which is it's as if like Conan only books the biggest names. They do book the biggest name, but they also try to break people. That's the thing.
I know, but
they
the
break
500,000 people that watch Conan, they're
no,
not.
or Leno or whatever show you prefer.
These shows don't want to fucking break people. Saturday Night Live canceled Radiohead to have Britney Spears on, and Radiohead wouldn't do the show for 10 years. It's fucking business. People, no one's
I
trying to
hear
break
you,
nobody.
but
They'll
you know
break
what?
somebody if they have to.
I hear what you're saying, Neal, that it's business, but on another note, it's also art. So that's the dichotomy of
Here's
this
the
business.
thing. Nobody
Neil's running a business, and we're trying to do art.
No, listen.
I'm not looking at numbers. I'm
Well,
just
somebody
like,
I'm
has
just
to be
here
the
doing
coach.
business. No, I'm doing I don't even
Yeah.
see this as either business or art. It's
Look,
craft
nobody
and just
wants
talking.
to be the first, but everybody wants to be the second when it comes to like breaking people or stuff like that. It's
Right.
hard to get a break. You
Yeah,
know? But
no,
they'll be like,
I
"Oh, you
feel
already
you for sure.
somebody else gave you a chance. Oh, well, now we'll give you a chance."
No, that is definitely how it works. But
I'm
what
very thankful about.
I would rather
about
work with
Workaholics.
somebody who, then you guys and those guys do it the right way. I'd rather do a movie with Piven than with fucking somebody super big, because then you're just stepping into like a franchise and just all
Right.
I'd rather
What
I personally like the not like Piven's like slumming or something, but I personally like the the underdog factor.
But I'm saying, for me, all things being equal, if I had this unlimited amount of money and you said, I'll give you 10, you could be in 10 Kevin James, what was the zoo movie?
Yeah.
You know, the talking zoo.
Zookeeper.
You could be in 10 zookeepers, and we'll give you $10 million. Or you can be in one Darren Aronofsky film. We'll give you $10 million. I'm picking the Aronofsky film. That's who I am.
Yeah, but that's
a lot of less work.
Yeah, but that's not how it works.
You're also really oversimplifying my point. You're never going to get $10 million to be in a Darren movie because that's more than the budgets are.
I know that's not.
But
this wasn't literally. I don't think this is literally going to happen.
You're trying to paint
I was trying
me.
to illustrate the
again,
point.
because I think because I have a business acumen, you're trying to paint me as not artistic.
I'm not painting you in any way.
All I did was fucking chuckle.
Sorry.
I'm not trying to paint you in. I'm trying to talk about myself. I'm talking about me. So you took it personally, but I wasn't.
Because you've been saying that like you do art and I'm in business.
No, I didn't say that one time.
I think I heard
No,
it.
yeah, you did say that.
That's what Doug said. Doug's over there across the table from me. He's got the drops.
Okay.
I'm the Jewish dude with a lot of sexual charisma and an edgy act that sometimes offends club owners.
I'm the fucking champion. I beat you.
Who is that?
Grizzly Man.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
Look, it's the truth. People are
Fuck
star
them.
fuckers.
People,
No doubt.
America is we're star fuckers.
Have you guys ever heard
Let
the
me tell you
term?
something. I'm not doing anything differently in my stand-up than I was doing
Yeah,
a
and
year
you see
ago.
it, and you
And
see
all of a
it.
sudden now it's like, Erik, you're gonna. I'm at the Improv 4 times this week
Yeah.
doing people's shows, and I'm like, okay, where was this love before? I'm the same
Absolute-
funny guy, same guy.
Absolutely.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying about
I'm
the
not
winner
denying
circle.
any of the reality of any of what you're saying. I agree with all of it.
You know what? That's
here's the
there's
irony
nothing
of it.
wrong with that because you don't want someone to just come in and be you want if you're going to put the time in, you want other people to pay their dues too. Don't
But
you
that's
think?
not what he's getting at. What he's getting at is it's the Eddie Murphy Mr. White sketch where it's like, oh, that silly Negro.
Yeah.
Once you get on Workaholics, it's like, oh, they come on, the rules don't apply to you. In LA, you actually get better parking spaces depending on who you're meeting with.
I have a story for you guys about
Sure.
that. Here's an example of where I really felt famous for once in my in this whole my little career.
Kick it.
I was calling Bank of America.
Eric, what is your character's name on Workaholics?
Montez on Workaholics. I was trying to get. I have a credit card that I have a horrible credit, so I was trying to. I have a $500 credit card. Okay,
Black guests only. Go ahead.
and I was trying to get more credit, so a higher limit. So I call them and he's talking to me. He's like, okay, well, what do you do? And I tell him what I do, and he goes, I said, I'm on the show Workaholics. He goes, who are you on Workaholics? The guy immediately got excited.
Right.
And I was like, well, I play Montez. He was like, oh my God, I love that show. The guy gave me the credit extension.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean.
He is one of those characters.
So the
from that
idea-
show.
I got more credit limit.
Absolutely. So the idea that I'm it proves the point that everyone's starfuckery and it comes in doing both comes in handy. Getting star fucked, it's fucking great. You get a credit extension for no reason.
For
Because
no
you fucking
reason.
auditioned for some dumbass
I mean,
show
also,
and
I made more money now, but the point is, I don't know if they still would have done it. If
There's
there was that
no
element,
way they would have
you know
done
what I mean? There was an element to it that it was like I felt like, yeah, I should have asked for 10,000.
it's the rules. The rules have changed.
Yeah, I don't think they've changed. I think they've always been like that.
No, but the rules for you
Right,
have
yeah,
changed.
personally,
Meaning like,
yes, yes.
no. That's credit extensions for people
Listen,
not on TV.
I was being hip pocketed by my agent for 2 years. I wrote him an email saying we're going to a 3rd season of this show. It's time to be more aggressive. Next thing you know, now I'm a full client of this. So that's just how it works. I mean, people want you to be doing stuff. They want you to be successful already. It's like agents, managers, they want you to already be making money. Then they're going to be like, "Yay, come on, now we're going to work with you." I mean, not that many people want to develop. Not that many people want to find somebody and say, "I discovered that person." It just doesn't work like that anymore.
Yeah, but do you guys not agree with me that the one of the basic dichotomies of of Hollywood is that it is a sort of sickening business cesspool that is right next door and buttressed up against to and Venn diagrammed into a beautiful artistic thing, and they're both sort of one can't exist without the other. That there's a money based kind of grossness about Hollywood and LA that is supporting like really awesome, amazing comedy and
I think
and
it's more
art
layered than that. I think it's deeper. The problems are deeper than just. It's not as black and white as that.
I've always considered myself like a crafts person.
Sure.
In that it's comedy is so consumer advocate. It's like you have to be on the side of the consumer. If the consumer doesn't like your product, no, you're not getting laughs. You're not fucking going anywhere.
But that doesn't stop Comedy Central, you know,
from putting on shit that you don't think is funny.
Yeah, I think that they're so worried about their sponsors and things like that they homogenize the specials and water down what people do, and they're not thrilling. They're not, they don't stand out. They don't pop.
That's the nature of the entertainment industry, is that it's both things at once. It is Aronofsky and Talking Penguins. It is Bill Hicks and Carlos Mencia. It is not that any. I mean, I think Carlos is great. Just I think
Carlos
he's a great
has
dude.
been doing a lot of Bill's bits lately.
Bill Cosby?
Bill Hicks.
Oh, Bill Hicks. That'd be funny.
They fucking sing.
Yeah, but I think a lot of edgy comics.
He performs them better.
Thinks they're Bill Hicks though.
Sure, and a lot of mainstream guys at the Comedy Store think they're Carlos Mencia. There's hacks on every.
But I don't.
Now we're about to get into it.
But I think that
Erik.
I think that people. I don't know. I've just never in comedy. It's not like drama. You're either getting laughs or you're not. I am with you in that on a corporate level, you have to. They will make commercial decisions that aren't necessarily best for the show. Having said that, I've never experienced it, and I know that that's the thing on Chappelle's show. Is like they fucked with you guys. They didn't fuck with us at all. Once they realized they didn't know what the show was about, they just said literally after the 6th episode, they were like, "Do whatever you want. We don't understand your show."
They don't understand it.
What do you mean they didn't understand it?
But
that's the exception, not the rule.
Yeah, that is true.
I agree, but also the 4 biggest hits on Comedy Central are 4 of the best shows ever. South Park,
right?
Chappelle Show. You look at each other. You guys can exchange a glance now.
What are you talking about?
I thought Doug was going to give you a look of like, can you believe he said that? Colbert Report and The Daily Show. So these
Neal.
are the no. You guys,
Neal, you're really in a defensive space.
No, because you basically caught at me about booking good guests.
No, I'm going to piggyback.
It's like a non-argument.
I'm going to piggyback.
It is a non-argument.
We love to have good guests.
It is
just
a non-argument.
saying, that. You don't have to do it all the time.
Why not? Why not have good guests all the time? We're not breaking anyone on the show. There's not enough people listening to break them or not. We're not breaking. We didn't break Tony Rock. We didn't break Ian Edwards. We didn't break the Pimpologist.
No, but first of all,
I'm not going to have on popular. You were advocating having on someone popular that you don't think is funny. I would never fucking do that.
Oh, okay. You're tuning into the airing dirty laundry from the email chain hour here on the Pep Podcast.
No, we can cut this out.
Let's not cut it out of you. I mean, I know that
I will cut it out, depending on what you say, depending on how. If I don't want to name names, but there was someone who we had on that none of us respect that you were advocating we have on because they are popular. What? Am I wrong?
So you're saying okay, first of all, I do think that you would have a guest on who you don't think is funny, but who is wildly popular and famous.
Like who? Who have I pitched that is or that's famous?
I don't know who you don't think is funny that's wildly popular and famous, who's a black guy that we could have on the show.
I know who.
Like who?
Herman Cain.
No,
what if he agreed to be on the show?
I would have
Michael Jackson's doctor.
I would have those guys on.
Hold on.
I'm just saying. I'd rather have people that I respect that aren't popular than people I don't respect that are popular. And I'm not. I'd rather get a big guest than Conan's not trying to break fucking anyone. Conan's fucking. They're not trying to break anyone. They'll break bands, and the reason they'll break bands is because bands aren't even popular anymore.
So, like, what do you mean? Well, they had Ron Funches on because he was such a big comic?
No, because he's a good fucking comic.
Yeah, because he's a good comic.
Right. But
you're saying because they want to keep the viewer watching the show.
Yeah.
I don't agree. I think Conan actually is known for breaking, or maybe it was a Letterman. One of the things they would do is they would break bands. That's part of. You think that there's no artistic desire to be a thing in the it's just about commercial?
I mean, it's good for booking. It's literally
just about viewership and commercials. Like it has no other element to it.
Yeah, but they're not.
No, it's
having
not black
on,
and white like
it's
that.
It's not neat. Yeah, you can't just argue
it's
the
not
opposite.
one or the other.
If they can
there's
get,
a gray area.
Look, if they can
I
get,
agree with that.
If they can
I'm
get
not
U2,
naive.
they're not doing whole weeks breaking artists. They're doing whole weeks where they have U2 on.
They might have a segment called "Breaking Artists."
Yeah,
right now.
they'll do.
Why would they do that?
They'll do a whole week of Eminem. They ain't doing a whole week of fucking
Here's the difference
Wale.
in comedy, though. Here's the difference in comedy.
Yeah.
you're not breaking a comic in the sense that it's not some fresh new guy that's never done it before.
Yeah.
Okay, like when Letterman's going to be like, well, unless it's Comedy Central, but if you're going to just break he's going to be like, he knows this guy's done it for 12, 15, 16 years.
That's true.
And they're like, okay, now let me give this person
Yeah,
a
they
break.
bring people on that
That's
can
different.
deliver.
You're also wrong on a business level because breaking someone can be hugely economically viable to you in the long run. If you are the person that broke,
but nobody wants to go long run anymore. They can't go.
No, I
long
hear you, but
run.
I'm saying if I'm the show that broke Eddie Murphy, or I'm the show that broke
that is paid off. He has never stopped paying Saturday Night Live back for that.
but you know what I'm saying. If I'm the show that broke you, or what,
I'm not saying
then you're going to keep coming back to me as you grow as a comedic entity. You're going to keep coming back on my show.
Yeah, but most people don't make it that big. So they're if they break 40 bands and one of them, good bands have to go on these shows anyway. So they're not trying. Like I said,
I feel like a good band is going
SNL
to make it anyway.
I don't agree with you.
SNL
I think so.
canceled Radiohead to put on Britney Spears. They don't give a fuck. It's like they'll have on fucking. It's like, where is the Lauren will have on people from fucking Twilight, and all the writers roll their eyes. But and that's the reason people watch the show.
I wrote an email to somebody over at
Really?
Yeah, just to ask about doing a special. Okay?
Yeah, sure.
And the response I got back was, just because something is funny in the clubs doesn't mean we're going to think it's funny.
Wow.
This is very disrespectful.
So I thought, to me, myself, I was like, so you're saying the people that actually are going to pay money going to pay money to watch comedy, you're saying what they think is funny is not important enough to put on our network. To me, that was like, then I don't know what you really want.
No, because I think that email she was sending, he or she was sending you, was
he
was sending you was fuck you.
I don't think it
really was. Let's deconstruct comedy. It was really like no.
I know
it's an absolute no, but they don't want to say. They can't say. We don't think that you're funny enough.
Right.
I mean,
I would prefer that.
But certain networks,
they can't be caught saying that.
But certain networks will put people on that that they know aren't funny. I mean, we all know that.
Yeah.
People get specials because they got heat on some other level that you know for sure that the executives are like, well, what can we do? He's undeniably popular. Put him on. For sure.
I know, but see, if you're supposed to be the safeguards of comedy, I think it's a ripple effect that's going throughout the whole business.
Yeah.
Because of that fact right there. I think that the thing about stand-up comedy is it's undeniably either funny or not funny. So you can't just put somebody out there and go, well, we think this guy's funny and he's cute, because then the people watching go, this shit isn't funny.
But that speaks to taste. Meaning, don't you think that Molly at the Punchline has better taste in comedy just by proxy? Than someone's on their 10th day working at the Punchline.
Sure.
Okay.
I mean,
and that's the thing. It's like I always say, like, people. I always find that comics' wives are funnier than most open micers.
Comics' wives?
Wives,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Just because they're around comedy, their
that's
husband's
interesting.
funny. They're like. So what I would say is, like, even the people whoever the gatekeepers are,
the gatekeepers,
they do have some taste. But it's very specific. It's just
it's not specific. It is subjective.
Yes, absolutely.
And to that extent,
I don't think you can say it's not informed.
Yeah, but it's informed. Right. It's informed from a very specific subjective perspective. I mean, subjective perspective, elective. Sorry.
What is an electric company all?
Yeah. But I just felt self-conscious about rhyming on accident. That's what happened there. But like a person at some network that sent you that email, whatever network that might have been, they might quit their job. They might quit their job, and next week it's the person who your current manager gets that job, and all of a sudden that network.
I feel that way about like, for instance, just an example. I feel that way about the Comedy Store. You know. Oh my God, you're hairy. I feel that way about the Comedy Store.
Took my shirt off.
So I was gonna say that I feel that way about. Okay, so you had the gatekeepers. I call them the bouncers. You know, they're outside. They're not in actually doing anything fun. So, but that's just their job. That's what they do. So if you take that person away and it changes, like how do you think the Comedy Store would change dramatically if there was a new talent person?
Sure, 100%.
I mean, it would be
I don't think it would be that different. I honestly don't think. I think it would be different in the margins, but I still think Caparulo, Bobby,
the
D'Elia,
old school dudes that were our favorites there would still be favorites there. For sure.
and then I think it would change on the margins. I think it would change like how many spots you get or how many spots you get, or.
But also,
but what I'm saying is, but I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying is like when you have this person as the talent coordinator,
right,
and they've decided to coordinate the talent this way,
right,
and that's just how that is. It doesn't mean that this is right or wrong. It doesn't mean that this is better or worse.
There's also a cumulative thing of like, I don't get good spots at the Comedy Store. I do get them at the Improv and the Laugh Factory. Meanwhile, there's guys that work that get good spots at the Comedy Store that get shitty spots at or don't get any. So it's
the other day.
In.
This is I know exactly what you're saying, and you just got to just roll with it. I mean, for instance, the other day I did a Comedy Juice show. It was Wednesday night at the Hollywood.
One of the best shows in Los Angeles. Comedy Juice.
My name's on the marquee.
Sure.
I'm headlining the show. A tail pops in.
Sure.
And I felt like, oh wow, look at this. But then you go right over to the Comedy Store, and I got my 12:45 spot.
Right.
Like I just started doing comedy or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you just have to deal with it. It used to bother me way more.
Yeah,
now I just go.
Well, it bothers
whatever.
you way more when you're not getting in anywhere.
Right.
And then when you at least have one or two places where you're getting.
But
juice.
you know what though? But here's the thing:
the
I don't like
the Laugh Factory
somebody
doesn't fuck with me at all. I spent 2 years.
But there's less spots at the Laugh Factory.
No, but I spent 2 years trying to get past, or a year trying to get past at the Laugh Factory when I first moved to town. I was doing spots like every couple weeks to try to get past, and then finally I got past, and I haven't done a spot.
Oh yeah, that's
the thing. You get more spots trying to get past. But listen,
crazy.
There's less spots at the Laugh Factory than there are at the Comedy Store in a night.
There's significantly less.
Yeah.
In a week,
you guys can defend the Laugh Factory all you want. They don't fuck with me. Right, it's all good. It's all good. The improv.
Some bullshit right there.
It's life. It's life. Sample. It's life. Like the Improv gives me love, the store gives me love, and then I can do all the alt rooms that you do. Would you do a lot of alt rooms, Eric?
I've done alt rooms. I like doing alt rooms because I like calling them out on their bullshit.
What is that bullshit, Eric?
But Eric, don't you see? All right, so you're going from the point of view that the taste thing, because that's the thing is you have mainstream sensibilities. Meaning, just as a guy, I kind of do too. Mm-hmm. I can get by with like. I have mainstream sensibilities with like a
racial
with like a racial like I can say shit about race that other people can't, so it's less mainstream.
Yeah, you know what?
But I still do jokes about men and women. I still do jokes about texting. I still do jokes about fucking Iraq. Like
this is interesting. Actually, at this table, the arc is really very particular. I mean, it goes. I would say Doug at the more sort of
furthest to the left. Yeah.
Furthest to the left, and then it would be me. And then it would be you, Neal, and then it would be Eric. But we're all successful and effective. More, I don't mean successful monetarily. Effective stand-up comedians in that we all get laughs. Like we all get.
Well,
laughs.
that's like why I wanted to do the show with you guys, because I see it as like show I do in Santa Monica.
I just did it the other night.
Yeah, but it's like a cross section of types of comics: black comics, white comics. Like I'm like. I don't believe in the segregation shit. Like if you can, because comics that I like can kill everywhere.
Yeah, that's the thing. Funny is funny.
Right, but the only reason why you have to have a black night at a club is because for so long every other night was white night.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why.
Actually, interestingly, you bring that up. That is, in fact, why alternative comedy started. Was that there was a lot of cats who were feeling they were actually cats, and they were like, "There's not a lot of space."
They were like, "Meow."
But if you translated, no. But a lot of guys were like, "We're not getting in or getting the respect or feeling even comfortable in these."
Okay,
hold on, let me finish. In these rooms, and so they went out and created their own rooms, and then created the alternative.
I've
comedy.
I've never even been to the Laugh Factory or the Comedy Store.
That's interesting.
Really?
Never even been there.
That's interesting.
That's hilarious.
Listen, in 2008,
Doug, I want to take you.
Yeah, we should
I'll
take
go.
Doug.
Take me.
We should do a live.
And I've done the Improv twice. One was your show, and both times it's like, this is not my crowd.
Interesting, but it's interesting because the Improv.
Sorry,
it's all right.
You have that story still, Eric?
Yeah, I do. Keep
got it in the queue, and I'm done.
Because you know how there's an arc here at this table. There's also an arc of the clubs. I would say that the UCB is at the left.
Yeah.
The Improv is me. So the UCB is Doug. The Improv is Moshe. The Laugh Factory is no. The Comedy Store is I don't know. The Comedy Store.
See,
I can't.
I'm glad you stopped yourself because I find that to be all bullshit. The problem with UCB for me is that it's like the emperor has no clothes.
Have
okay?
you been though?
Yes, I have.
No. I think we've had this discussion, and this is always my. Go ahead.
Because I feel like it's like people are sitting around going, "Oh God, this is so brilliant," and it's not. Okay. And just like there are unfunny comics at the Comedy Store and unfunny comics at the Laugh Factory.
Oh,
there are
for sure.
unfunny. So what I'm saying is, if you're a good performer or you're one of these stand-up comics that have gone through the ringer, you're going to be able to go to UCB and you're going to do fine.
Sure.
If you can't take that and go someplace else, then you need to work on your stand-up comedy performance skills. That's all that is. Well, it's not the audience. It's not like, well, this isn't my crowd. You're not playing for your crowd. It's not like the sports where here's some NBA fans and then ping pong breaks out and they're like, hey, this isn't what I came to see.
That's
No.
interesting. Are you saying that the funniest person is the person who casts the widest swath in their comedy?
No, I'm not saying
That's
that at
able
all.
to make-
No.
Here's what I'll say.
I'm not saying
to that
that
point
at all.
To that point, yeah, Chris Rock, Dave, Louis, Bill Burr, the best comics now can work any room.
Any
and that's
room.
And that's me and Dave used to go to fucking whatever the alt room in New York was, Luna, and he'd go on and crush, and then we'd walk out and he'd go, see, I can do that here, but they can't do it at the Comedy Cellar. And that's how I feel about it. It's like,
Me too.
If you can't, you need a fixed fight. You need a specific audience to do well. Then you're not really doing comedy.
But there's a lot of audiences that you wouldn't do well in front of.
No, show them to me.
Oh, what you're saying? You've never had a bad set?
No, I'm not saying I've never had a bad set, but
So
I'm not
saying
saying I kill everywhere. But I can. The likelihood of me killing in more rooms is the better I get, the more rooms I get.
Here's
No,
a point
what
I'll
I'm
make.
saying
Here's a
is
point I'll make. You need. I'm cutting you off. You need regular mainstream comedy to make alternative comedy funny. Without mainstream comedy, if it didn't exist, alternative comedy, it would be, what would it be? You need this other thing to shit on.
Sure.
To make it funny.
You're incorrect, and you already know it, but you don't know that you know it yet.
What's great is that you know it and you're taking it like a man.
Yeah. Who are the
Moshe, go ahead and tell him why he's a liar. Now you see why I call him
Oh
a liar.
God! Here we
you're
go.
He's not a liar. He's glib, and that is because alternative comedy doesn't.
Well, can I tell my alternative comedy story?
Well, hold on before you do it.
It's not just making fun of mainstream comedy. It just.
It's not. That's
Eric,
true.
do you know
A lot
that
of
you're
it is
going to get
Dana
more
Gold.
work now? You're going to get more work now as a skinny guy because you've lost how much weight?
25 pounds.
Because you look, and you're going to think this is crazy. You look less like Sinbad.
Oh, I know.
Before you tell the story, the reason that you're wrong is that the biggest names in alternative stand-up comedy are in fact people that also work in mainstream rooms around the country.
And that's why they're not. See,
no.
What I love is those people are
Go
not
ahead. Who?
alternative comics anymore.
Okay, but they're the people.
It's just like when
they're the people that
it's
start.
like when Nirvana.
they're
It's
the
like when
people that
Nirvana became popular. They're now popular.
Okay, but they're the people that started alternative comedy. Patton Oswalt, Brian Posehn, Sarah Silverman, the guy Dana Gould. All.
Okay, I can't wait to tell my Dana Gould story.
I mean,
Tell it.
But okay, but let me finish this point though.
Barack Obama, motherfucker.
Here's my argument. No one that's ever been a big mainstream comedy star in America couldn't kill in a comedy club.
Yeah, but I agree. No, I agree with you.
Okay. All right. I have one more argument, then I want to hear your Dana Gould story.
You realize that I'm a dude I come from the clubs and the alt rooms. I was raised in clubs as a comedian. I'm not just some alternative comedy guy stumbling over my notebook like, well, what else is...
Right.
I mean, I'm from both worlds, but I'm saying it's yeah. I
Those
think
are the people
Doug
that are
was right
robbing alternative comics.
Doug was right when he called you glib because it oversimplifies what's happening in those rooms to say that they're all just like sitting there taking a shit on mainstream comedy. It's Patton Oswalt. It's like one of the greatest comics of this generation it's Sarah Silver. These are real. Mark Maron. These are people that do clubs and do alternative rooms and do clubs and do it all.
Maron doesn't feel welcome in the alt rooms. He said it on the show.
Sure.
I think it's someone like Brent Weinbach who's just completely like, he's just funny, but it's completely experimental. You know?
I like Brett. He is funny, and I like seeing him do well in different audiences. My problem with the alt rooms is they were being discriminated against at comedy clubs, and they were like, "This sucks," being discriminated against. let's start our own club, and then we get to discriminate.
Sure.
And it's like, so you weren't against discrimination at writ large. We're just discriminating. You don't like discrimination.
But
against
can I make one point? Wait. Let me make 1 point for the alternative comics, though.
Mm-hmm.
A comic like a mainstream comic, of course he can kill in an alt room because he's doing mainstream comedy. Everybody likes that. So even the audience members in an alternative comedy room are going to be like, oh, that's really funny. I like that stuff. But
they're going to be laughing before they realize that's true.
It isn't true.
No, it is. No, it is.
Dude, every time
if Alex Raimundo came into the UCB on a Tuesday, people would be like,
"Oh, you're going to pick Alex Raimundo, really?"
Okay, who else do you want?
Listen,
Shang. I am Shang.
Listen,
he's funny.
No, listen to me. I've been to alt rooms,
sure,
and the audience member people, I'm killing them, okay?
Sure.
And then this side of the room are the alt comics and the people waiting to go up and stuff, and they're looking at me like, they're just like, And I remember saying it to them. I was like, oh, I get it. This is the audience over here, and you guys are the pretentious dicks that are like, But
anyway, you're a pretentious dick too.
Oh, very much so.
For mainstream comedy.
No.
You are though.
No.
Is he?
No.
Yeah, he hates on alternative.
No. This is like the argument. No. This is like the argument of going like, if I say I don't like hockey, then people go, well, what about basketball? No, it's not an opposite thing. No, I just don't like how some of the alternative people come across.
This is the first time you've ever said some in the alternative comment.
I'm not. No, because
you need to assume you always argue the argument and you don't argue the subject. You'll go like you just try to catch us on language. I know he doesn't mean every single person.
You don't know. You don't know that we've had this conversation like 20,000 times
over
the years. We've done this already so many times.
But this is a different setting. Those times you're trying to get me pissed off, and I'm trying to get you pissed off. So we use generalizations. But let me tell you my story. 2008, I'm doing New Faces in Montreal.
Sure.
Okay, I get into a van and Dana Gould's there, and I'm like, and I go, wow, I really want to talk to this guy about alternative comedy. And I asked him, I say, hey,
was it in a Moshe E-tone? Like, I really want to talk to this
guy. Or was it in a Neal E-tone? You're a fucking liar, Dana Gould.
So I asked him about it, and the funny thing was he agreed with, like, he said that the alternative comedy has been hijacked.
Sure.
It's been hijacked by these douchebags. These are the ones I don't like, the douchebags, because he said they started the alternative comedy movement not to be different or anything. It was because you had to have an act, and and there was no place to work on new material.
Sure.
And at the time they did this, it was just like to go up and you just work on new jokes. And he said, therefore, it wasn't going to be as good because it was like a gym aspect to it.
Yeah.
It's working out, So then that has become like that's supposed to be an art form or something like that now for some people. And I'm not saying everybody.
I know what you're saying. There's a certain...
But I love the people that are like really mainstream and really talented. They try to peg them as alternative, like Zach Galifianakis. That motherfucker's not alternative, okay? He's not alternative.
His beard is.
He is alternative. No, but, I mean, there's no... Okay, let's start with the idea that there's no such thing as alternative comedy. It's a nonsense word.
I agree with you.
I think it's a location.
Right.
Moshe, it is clubs
this is
where you're
my
more likely
point.
to do well.
That's my point.
It's doing it in a bar as opposed to doing it in a comedy club.
But there are people like Zach and Brent Weinbach, and I wouldn't put myself in this rank at all, even though and actually Doug, it would be an example of a performer like this who their acts are weird. They're alternative to a standard issue act.
If you're true to yourself,
Steve Martin would be the first, or Emo Phillips are also.
I'm saying you can be true to yourself, and our mainstream audience is gonna laugh.
No, I agree. I mean, Brent Weinbach and I have gone.
I just think that what I'm saying is, it's just like female comics. Okay, there's not a lot of good ones. So therefore, people might make the assumption that female comics aren't funny. No, there's just not a lot of them, and most comics aren't funny. So therefore, by percentage wise, there's not going to be a lot of funny female comics. And I think that you see a lot of horrible alternative comedy.
Sure, but what we're talking about is level of difficulty.
I see an No, I don't think that mainstream comedy is more difficult because I see.
I don't know. I think it's less difficult.
I see an equal amount. I would say an exact equal. You want to talk about percentages? An exact percentage equal amount of garbage ass.
But that's why I say. But that's why I say. But that's why I say.
I think more.
Yeah, but
I think it does probably balance about equal.
But I think they're likely to. Mainstream comics are likely to do more hacky shit because they're working in more environments where that is rewarded.
Right, but the alt guys will be rewarded. A bad alt comic will be rewarded by sort of like, you're almost there.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And a bad mainstream comic will be rewarded with, you are selling it pretty good. and we're not smart enough to identify that what you're doing is bullshit. So we'll just laugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Did you tell your story already?
Oh yeah, he did.
So no, well he would. That's what I'm saying.
started
He was just telling me like the origin of why they started the alternative comedy movement, and he was very much agreed with some of the things I was saying about what I don't like about alternative comedy, and I felt like I was like vindicated. I felt like yes, because here's one of the starters of this, and he was like,
but he would deny it.
Probably
no,
would.
I mean, I agree.
No, I don't think he would. I don't think
course
he
he
would.
would.
I agree with you about that. I just think that you have a particular relationship with the word alternative because we're all.
You probably showed up at a few shows and someone was being pretentious.
Yeah.
And
we're
like,
all enemies.
but I don't mind that
we are
at all.
enemies of bad comedy, and every comedian should be an enemy of bad comedy.
I just, in my personal gripe on it is, I feel like it's trying to be jammed down our throat by like the powers that be. You know, it's like I think that the people that they say, okay, let's go with alternative now, or let's go with like guys that look like this or that.
That goes to taste again, though, because if Comedy Central likes alt comedy, which I think the people that book the hours and half hours like alt comedy. What does well on the network is shit that's mainstream but really well put together.
Well, I think your show
Workaholics, Tosh, Chappelle Show, Daily Show, Colbert, South Park are their only those are their 6 hits in their 22-year history.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Is that everything?
I mean, you could if you want to include UCB and X57, but those are.
But here's what I find ironic
or Reno
about
911.
What were the other 2 that you said? UCB.
UCB, Data Show, Polar,
and that was
Besser.
a big.
It was only on for a couple. I'm just saying, like shows that you'd even remember.
But I think that your show that you're on is an example of funny is funny, man.
No, I think that we all think that. I think most comics feel like funny's funny, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that the person, the gatekeeper behind that it believes that, I don't personally believe that I think that they got lucky with Workaholics in a sense that, and just the same thing with the Chappelle Show. They just went, well, just do it, do, go ahead, and then they were like, wow, look what we have here,
right?
Because they can no longer say that. What I love about Workaholics is they can no longer say you have to be a name. You have to be a name, you have to be a star, you have to look a certain way.
Right.
Because now you can go to Comedy Central and go, I had this idea. And they can go, well, you can go, hey, Workaholics.
Yeah. Yeah.
It works.
Right.
So, even they are, and the one last thing I'll say is this. I always feel like they're trying to appeal to a certain demographic on Comedy Central, for instance. Like that's why I feel they pick like young comics, and I don't mind that. If you're going to tell me you're casting your half hours, if you're going to cast them,
sure,
and we want it to be this demographic of young people because we're trying to reach young people, then I'm like, okay, I can go with that. If I'm the uncle, right? You don't want to put the uncle on, but here's the thing: their most popular shows, they're not appealing to young people.
What are you talking about? Workaholics is.
No, but that's the one
Tosh
show.
Is.
Workaholics and Tasha.
South Park?
I know, but
South Park is.
No, but South Park is not a show. That's a show that appeals to a wide range of people.
I would bet.
But the Daily Show, 10 Emmys in a row?
Yeah, but that's, again, what you're talking about is the taste thing. There is an element of, the things that work in Comedy Central, when they go too niche, when they go Sarah and Dimitri, that doesn't quite work. And when they go Jeff Dunham, that doesn't quite work.
Right.
There is a sweet spot, which is, and this is what's disappointing about comedy, is pretty much everyone that's made it in comedy or pretty much everyone that's been great in comedy made it. Do you know what I mean?
Pretty much everybody that's been great in comedy made it. That's an interesting.
There are very
statement.
few. That's the thing is, but think about it.
But I think the people that know their market, the people that know their niche and know how to speak to them, they've been very successful.
But I'm not talking about success. I'm talking about but I'm talking about great comics. There are no great comics that are just died in obscurity.
Toiling in obscurity.
Yeah.
You mean all-time greats?
Yeah, but I'm just talking about
no. I just say
guys
in general,
that generate a shitload of material.
We know who they are.
Yeah, we know who they are, and so do Bill Burr's selling out theaters. He's not on TV really,
but he's at this point approaching like he's not there yet, but he's like approaching like all-time great.
If he died, he'd be considered an all-time great.
Right. So what I'm saying is like there's a lot of extremely
but I'm talking about
people.
The best comics are are getting they become well known.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's funny we bring up Brent Weinbach because actually he is somebody that should have blown up a long time ago, and I think it's because of how weird his act is. But you know what's interesting? I've toured Montana, I've toured Texas with Brent, I've toured Montana, and Brent can crush Middle America.
Yeah.
But have you seen him really do a set not like at a 4 a.m. kind of comedy store?
No.
So there's no one funnier than Brent. To me, actually, there's no one funnier than Brent.
Yeah.
And he's not the funniest, but he's at a level where.
But you're talking about taste too. That's your taste.
Well, yeah, but I like Chappelle.
Yeah, but I think that
Will
we're
Burr
talking
and
about
Patrice and all those
but I think
cats
we're also
too.
talking about level of difficulty. It goes down to taste, and someone like Molly Schmick, who watches 1,000 comics, you start to figure out types of jokes. The thing that's cool about Brent is that it is deconstruction. The thing that's cool about Doug too is it is deconstruct. It is odd. It is original, and it's fucking a new thing that's risky, and it's fucking hard to. Not anyone can do like. Yeah, I'm going to do what Doug does.
Right.
Where I'm going to take samples and then.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. There is and I think there is that should be. Rewarded. I think that absolutely.
I have a question for
the
Erik.
originality, but I also think that it is consumer driven, and guys like Bill, Dave, Chris Rock, et cetera, can have figured out a way to do mainstream comedy at a very high level of difficulty, whether it's subjects or whatever.
What's your question, Doug?
With a little bit of luck.
Oh, Workaholics. Who are those guys?
Well, they had
and how did they get that show?
Well, they had this sketch group. What is it called? I forgot the name of their sketch group. I feel like a shithead, but
I think they were called the Workaholics. Go ahead.
No, yeah, whatever they. And then they made They made their own pilot presentation. You know, because Kyle Newacek, the director and one of the creators, he was a director. He graduated from film school and he's got all the equipment and stuff. So they put together their own pilot presentation, presented it to Comedy Central, and they loved it, and we are.
Sold it.
They sold it. You know. So that's like the new thing now. So they're other people are trying to pitch things. And
I did that exact same thing.
You want to do it like this? You got to do it like this. You know. So
you did, Doug?
Yeah, me and my friend made a little. We call it a dazzler. We just
Right.
shot this thing and we've been like showing it around. But I was just curious, you know.
But let me ask you.
That's
something.
kind of cool that like someone, you know, those guys just kind of came out of nowhere
Yep.
and sold a show, which is awesome.
I know.
Erik did the same thing. I mean, they just made a short.
Just like Erik Griffin, the rules have changed. He's a winner. Your credit's getting extended.
I think somebody at Bank of America is going to get fired tomorrow.
I
didn't even
wish.
mention
At
that it
least
was Bank of
somebody
America
finally.
yet.
Yeah.
Now they will.
If that's all it takes, it's like getting Al Pacino on tax evasion.
All of your references to companies that you're having interactions with are so.
Shit, we're gonna have to bail them out.
You had a great interaction with Enron as well, Anderson.
It's like every company that you vaguely don't say the name of, we can just instantly figure out who they are.
Right.
Ladies and
all right.
gentlemen.
I'll say I had a great, awesome time. I didn't think I was going to have a great, awesome time.
Oh, really? You were dreading it?
Everyone dreads
I was a little
doing
nervous.
podcasts,
True.
and then they leave.
True.
Like David Allen Greer he dreaded it, and then he's already offered to come back on.
Well, we'll have
I
him back
really,
on?
I did have a really great, fantastic
sure?
time. I did. No, really. This has been like a very interesting. We could have gone on for another 2 hours.
Don't lie
I
to
feel
Neal.
like.
Yeah, don't lie to Neal,
him.
you fucking liar.
No.
You
Guys,
fucking liar.
He doesn't lie when he's complimenting me or anything I'm involved in. It's not a lie.
Goodbye,
Disingenuous.
you internet phonies. Thank you for fucking with the champs.
Montez, Workaholics.
Oh, yeah. At Moshe Kasher. At Neal Brennan.
ErikGriffin.com
At
with a K.
Fuck with us.
ErikGriffin.com.